welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of May 11th, 2020. Every week we chat about the things parents are talking about, complaining about, and obsessing about right now. I'm Catherine Haleko, and I'm here with Nicole Eridix.
Hello.
I'm Terry Morrow.
Hello.
This week we are complaining about household stuff that's taking over and obsessing about lockdown merch. We're also taking a couple of breaks for an entertainment discussion and a recommendation roundup. Today we're talking about fictional moms in quarantine. Since we just celebrated Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day to all of you and to our mom listeners.
Yes.
We thought we would talk about how our favorite pop culture moms, TV, movies, books, those kind of moms, how would they handle life in a pandemic? Terry, do you have some people in mind? Some fictional mamas?
Well, it's such a shame that other than one-offs like the Parks and Rec special, which they all did on Zooms from their various homes, all these sitcoms and dramas are going to not have an opportunity to play with this whole quarantine situation because obviously the actors are quarantined as well. And it's such a rich thing. You can imagine pretty much any sitcom family household having to be in the same house without going out for a month or two and what hijinks and hilarity would ensue. I'm sure there's TV writers everywhere going, oh, come on.
Right.
This would be so great, but you're not, once everything goes back to normal, you're not going to be able to do it. It's going to be been there, done that, been traumatized by it. We really don't want to see it again.
Right. Old news.
So, old news, old news. But I was kind of thinking about some of my favorite TV moms and how they might, I'm thinking about Patty Chase of My So-Called Life and the delight it would be for her to have to keep Angela home and away from her friends for months. And the amount of, emotional outpouring there would be from that poor teenage girl who can't go, she would be sneaking out and sitting in a parking lot on the hood of her car talking to her friends. And that Patty would be just very, you have to do this, you have to do it just right or all, It's you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. There would be such rich material for mother-daughter angst. And have I mentioned that I'm glad this didn't happen when my kids were younger? And of course, Abby Bartlett,
yes,
First Lady and Mother, would be, in charge of the White House Committee on COVID-19, and she would be doing all sorts of televised messages about it. She would get right into that. She would have opinions. And I was also thinking about jumping over to movies. We've mentioned here before that I watch Love Actually once a year, and so I am quite familiar with it. Even though I cannot remember at the moment this character's name, but Emma Thompson's character in that show, in that movie, there's this famous scene where she has just found out by opening a present that is not what she expected, and then she realizes that the thing that she expected to get was actually what her husband gave to his secretary, and she realizes that there's something going on between them, and she cheerfully excuses herself from her husband and kids, and she goes in her bedroom, and she has, a momentary breakdown, completely contained,
A very cathartic cry.
Yes, very cathartic cry, almost collapses under this weight of this terrible thing, and then just sort of lifts herself up, pulls her sweater down, has one more little bobble, and then she goes out and said, let's go, let's do what we need to do, without showing anything, and then is later able to just zing her husband with the awareness of what has gone on. And I'm thinking, that's every mom in this thing, we all feel the weight and the stress of this, but you can't lose it in front of your kids or your family, so you just sort of, go in your room and have your little, moment of stress and weakness, and then go back out. What can we do? Let's bake cookies. Let's do something fun with the quarantine.
Right.
I feel her. I am a little loud when I go in the room. I let everybody know that I'm having my tantrum and I got to work on that. But
right.
I was thinking about her as sort of an exemplar of how so many people are having to handle this.
Right. The stiff upper lip in front of everyone.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. What about Lydia from One Day at a Time, which is the Rita Moreno character? She would be like cooking all the time, but also like don't get fat. You know, she'd be like telling the kids that they couldn't eat too much because otherwise they would get fat. And, you know, of course, Penelope is a nurse, so that would give like tons of material. I could see
wow, would this be awesome for them?
Penelope having to like being exposed at work, so she has to be quarantined in her room. And, you know, so that means Lydia's basically in charge of the kids, and there a lot could ensue from that. And of course, Schneider would like try to keep coming in, and Lydia would be like, "No, you can't."
And Stephen Tobolowsky would appear via Zoom.
Yes, for sure. The doctor,
or he would, you know, climb up the fire escape and just talk to her through a window or something.
Yeah, he might do that.
I would not put that past him.
Yes, he would love that, actually.
Yeah. He might just sleep out there. But, yeah, that's a good one. So many sitcoms would be so tailor-made for that. But this, especially with her being a nurse, would have lots of opportunities.
Yeah, and then you'd have, like, Lydia possibly falling for some sort of conspiracy theory that she heard about online, and and Penelope having to explain to her how wrong she is.
Made for so many parts of One Day at a Time, including the editorializing.
Yes,
rich opportunities.
Well, I'm thinking about Marge Simpson.
Oh yeah,
from The Simpsons. Because that woman puts up with so much from her husband and her kids. And I just envision, you know, her during quarantine, just letting the kids and her husband just, you know, not letting them, but just sitting back and watching the house in utter chaos as they find all sorts of different ways to entertain themselves. And I just envision her just sitting back on the couch and living through it all.
Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder what sort of salon time goes into Marge's hairdo there.
Oh,
and
that's
if it goes by, her hair is really not that color and like is droopy.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Would be struggling.
Yes. For sure.
I don't watch the show to know if they ever address that, but yes, that could be something that would chart the course of the pandemic.
You definitely can't achieve that at home, I don't think, unless you're a cartoon.
That's true. Yeah. She does have that advantage.
But her salon is probably closed, so you can imagine what it might look like during quarantine time.
The animators could have a lot of fun with that. Just like the passage of time, you know, how does the beehive
with Marge's hair?
Quarantine day 1, quarantine day 20.
Yeah.
Yes.
By the end of it, there's things, you know, growing inside of it, hanging off of it.
Now, see, that's a show that could be done now, right? They could all be working on it in their own households.
Hello,
like, make it
Simpsons.
happen, Simpson people.
Yeah.
Yeah, give us credit.
That's right.
Please. You know, I imagine Bart is all over the house with his skateboard, making all sorts of...
And Bart has never washed his hands in his life, so this is all new to him.
Yeah. Maybe Maggie's learning to speak. I don't know.
Oh, there you go. All sorts of advantages.
Yeah. Lisa's actually looking for a cure.
Oh, for
right.
Yes.
She's testing things in the basement.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought
thinking about what the season of This Is Us about this would be, and it would just be cut to a flashback. Nothing's happening here. It's really boring. This whole passage of time is really boring.
It would be all flashbacks and then like their weekly Zoom get together with the whole family. Absolutely.
I was also thinking about, this is somebody who obviously is a fictional mom and does not have human children, but she has dragons for children. And that would be Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones.
Right.
You know, she wouldn't have to worry about interacting with people. She could just hop on her dragon and,
Right.
take the family somewhere.
Self-isolate.
Self-isolate somewhere in the middle of the Pacific. I mean, like, who knows, right?
Yeah.
Find an island.
Yeah.
And then the dragons could be used to burn down anybody that comes near them.
Yeah.
Right.
Torch those viruses, man.
Yeah.
Torch those viruses and anybody else who is outside without a mask.
Exactly.
We told you what to do,
the
and
upside
you would
of
not
having
do it.
dragons for children, right?
That's right.
They're very obedient.
Yes.
A lot of people around wishing they had that power, I believe.
I think so. Yeah. She would be a good person to hang out with.
Well, that's a little fun there for your Monday, and that's it for round one. If you have any ideas of pop culture moms you can imagine getting through this epidemic, let us know. Hit us up on Twitter or on Facebook. We'd love to hear what you have in mind. Tune in tomorrow for our entertainment-themed round two, and later in the week to find out what we're complaining about, obsessing about, and recommending right now. We're always interested in what you have to say, so drop us a comment on our website or Facebook page or Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.